What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at eufy's all new Omni E25 robot vacuum, and we're also going to compare it with my existing Saros 10R robot vacuum from Roborock. Now both robot vacuum mop hybrids are heavy hitters in the robot vacuum space that promise convenience and performance. And in this video, we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of these to see how eufy's all-new E25 robot performs compared to my existing robot from Roborock. So stay tuned. Okay, so to kick things off, I have had this Roborock 10R hybrid robot for several months now. And to be completely honest, it does a pretty good job keeping my kitchen and my dining area clean. It's super quiet, and like most other vacuum mop hybrids today, it self-empties, it washes, it recharges on its own, and it refills itself by docking with its contemporarily designed docking station. Now it works great, but the only call out that I have with this robot itself is that it is super pricey, coming in with a price tag at around $1,700, which I gotta admit is super expensive for a robot mop and vacuum cleaner hybrid. Now, when eufy reached out to me and said that they had a new hybrid robot that they wanted me to check out that could not only compete and do a better job than my existing vacuum mopping robot, but also do it at less than half the cost at around $900, I definitely wanted to check it out. And guess what? They sent me one to test out, compare, and review. So this is the brand new Omni E25 from eufy. With that being said, I have had this brand new eufy E25 for about a month now, and I have been putting it through its paces and comparing it with my existing Roborock 10R robot. So I guess let's begin by talking about some of the common features between each of these two robots. Now to start, both models, the eufy E25 and this Roborock 10R, have the basics covered. Each of these robots has an amazingly intuitive smart app to control and monitor the robots themselves. And then on top of that, both of course have the capability to auto recharge, which is expected and a standard in pretty much all robots today. And then both robots do support multi-floor mapping, which is useful because it allows you to see not only what areas have been cleaned, but which areas haven't been cleaned and where the robot has been. And then on top of that, each robot does have voice assistant support as well as scheduled cleaning, which is important in our busy lives today. On top of that, both robots are mop plus vacuum combos, which makes it nice because everything is contained in one ecosystem. Now, that being said, once you dig deeper, especially in real life cleaning scenarios, there are some major differences that start to show up. And that's what we'll get into in this video. Now, since both of these robots are or were stationed in my kitchen and dining area, the main use is of course the mopping feature, and on occasion the dual mopping and vacuum feature. Now honestly, this is where the E25 starts to pull ahead in a big way. Now don't get me wrong, the Roborock still does a great job, but after putting both to a side-by-side comparison test, the E25 definitely blew the socks off of the Roborock. And from a mopping perspective, this is where the technology and capabilities of the E25 shines. In fact, I'd probably call it a game changer. The E25 has real-time 360 self-cleaning, which equates to about 360 rinses per minute for the mop itself. It also uses a 1.5 kilogram of downward pressure for deeper scrubbing, and as you can see in some of these side-by-side comparison videos, it just does a much better job on a single pass, cleaning up deep and heavy stains. In addition to that, it also does have an 11.4 massive inch roller, which is the longest in its category, which means that it doesn't leave residue or a gap when it comes to cleaning. Now, comparing that to the Saros 10R, which uses dual spinning pads, which I think can handle light dirt, but unlike eufy, which has a built-in reservoir on the robot itself, It does require frequent returns to the base for cleaning and rehydrating of the mops. And of course, those mops do not scrub as deeply as the one on the eufy robot. Now, in my tests, I definitely saw much better results with the eufy E25 mopping than I did with the Roborock 10R. Oftentimes, the 10R left little streaks and a little line in the middle of the two mops themselves. So that's where the single mop on the eufy is much better. And then on top of that, the E25 also does use a 3rd gen roller mop technology, which is more efficient with water, and it doesn't oversaturate the floors like older systems do. Now, another call out, and what I also think is nice, especially for the price, is that you also do get your first bottle of floor cleaner soap with the eufy, which is something that is not included with this Roborock, which is something that you would expect when you're paying close to $2,000 for a robot vacuum and mop. But it just comes with the system itself with no additional cleaners, which is where the eufy stands out. Now, if you do want to take your mopping a step further, this is also a good time to mention eufy's E28 model, which I reviewed in a separate video, which delivers a true multifunctional deep cleaning experience, combining industry first PDC stain detection, real-time hydrojet mopping, and, like this one, extreme suction, making it ideal for families with kids, pets, and complex messes that most robots can't fully handle. Now, going back to the comparison of these two, when it comes to suction and vacuum performance, this is something that is of course crucial for all of us, especially if you've got pets or carpets, and is definitely something that I am in need of when keeping the kitchen and my dining area clean. Since of course, that is where a lot of foot traffic happens, not to mention a bunch of crumbs and all kinds of food particles that fall on the floor constantly. I'd say the kitchen and my dining area is probably the dirtiest and messiest part of the house because, I mean, that's where we spend the most time. Now, both do a great job of vacuuming, but the eufy E25 again shines with its 20,000 PA suction power, which is of course among the strongest in its class. Now this of course also means that it operates slightly louder than my Roborock, however, not by that much. Now it still operates fairly quietly compared to older robot vacuums that I have owned, which, as you know, are very loud. Both of these are pretty silent, with the eufy just being slightly louder than the Roborock. Now, as you'll see in some of my sample test videos, that the E25 absolutely dominates when it comes to embedded pet hair and any particles on both carpet and hard surfaces. Now, don't get me wrong, my existing Roborock definitely holds its own with decent suction, but the E25's combo of brush plus airflow gives it the edge for deeper cleans. In fact, I don't think anywhere in the specs does my Roborock talk about what the suction power is for the robot itself. But you'll notice in most of your cleaning sessions that the E25 just has better suction and does a better job. Now, since we are talking about vacuuming features, another feature that makes vacuuming stand out on the E25 versus the 10R is the anti-tangle brushes. Now, if you're like me, one of the most annoying issues with robot vacuums today has got to be tangled hair getting stuck in the brushes themselves, which is constantly happening with the Roborock. The eufy E25 comes equipped with duo spiral anti-tangle rollers, which are designed to retract and self-clean while it's vacuuming. Now this feature alone is especially helpful for households with long-haired family members, like my wife, or households with furry pets. It's definitely a must-have feature if you want to remove a lot of hassle from owning a robot vacuum. Now, to be completely honest, Roborock's standard roller just doesn't handle it as gracefully, and I often find myself on a regular basis needing to untangle and remove the hair that it is constantly picking up, which also impacts, of course, the cleaning quality of the robot itself, because all that tangled hair just clogs up the brushes and just stops it from being able to vacuum and suck up all kinds of debris. Now, continuing on with the vacuuming features. The next feature that I want to talk about is, of course, the edge and corner cleaning capabilities of each of these robots. Now, between eufy and the Roborock, each does take a very different approach to deep corner and edge cleaning. In fact, this is a feature that most people overlook. Now, when it comes to the Roborock and its edge cleaning features, I'd say the edge brush does an okay job getting to debris and other particles. And of course it does have rear mopping pads which do extend to make sure that edges and corners are mopped appropriately. But I'd say oftentimes it is unable to reach past the robot's frame to catch all debris and particles, especially in those very tight and sharp corners. Now, the E25 on the other hand has a corner rover system which intelligently hugs edges and cleans tight spaces that most other vacuums miss. It also uses an extendable side brush that can recognize over 200 object types to avoid obstacles. And in my tests, I found that a majority of the time that it was able to remove more edge and corner debris and particles for a deeper clean compared to the Roborock and other robot vacuums. And then of course, what's nice is that this is a technology that is incorporated in most of eufy's new line of robots. Now that being said, to be completely fair, like all systems, it's not 100% perfect because it is really just a brush flicking dirt and debris in front of the vacuum to eventually suck up. And sometimes small or unusual items might be missed by either robot. But the E25 does adapt and improve over time. And of course, it does usually catch it when it does multiple passes to eventually clean and catch any particle that it might have missed. Now, if you take a look at some of my demo videos and side-by-side comparisons of tests that I performed, you'll see that eufy's E25 handled every scenario that I pretty much threw at it. And of course, with less effort, faster and more effective performance, fewer base returns, and fewer clogs or tangles that I had to attend to. In fact, the eufy itself did an amazing job cleaning the floor, and it did it much faster than my Roborock did. Now that's not to say that the Roborock does a bad job. In fact, the Roborock 10R is a solid choice. But for me, it's just not as versatile for multi-mess households that require a good and deep cleaning. Now that being said, I do also want to make sure to note that a robot vacuum does a great job, but it will never be as good as a human. So basically after each of the robots cleaned the floors, I also went out and did a second cleaning with my bare hands. And as you can see in some examples, there were still some deep stains that both robots could not catch because they just don't have the cleaning power that human hands do. Now that being said, the eufy of course did a much better job at cleaning the stains deeper than the Roborock did. Moving on. We can't talk about the robot systems without talking about the base stations themselves, which I think are both equally amazing. In fact, with them standing side by side, you can see that the Roborock base station is a lot larger than the eufy station. And then when it comes to the base station of the Roborock itself, the reservoirs are a little bit larger, but I think the capacity for the water in both of the reservoirs is the same as what the capacity is for the eufy system. And I think that also goes the same for the dust bags themselves. So from a capacity standpoint, they are equal. However, the Roborock station is a little bit larger. That being said, the Roborock station is a 10-in-1 system, whereas the eufy has a little less features. When it comes to the E25, it's got auto emptying, it's got hot water mopped wash and dry, but you don't get hot water for the robot reservoir itself. Instead, what you get is room temperature water. Now, the E25 does clean the mop rollers well, and of course is quieter, but it does seem slightly less premium than the Roborock system. But then it's got all the features that you would need to clean the room. Now, with the Saros 10R dock, you also do get auto emptying. You get hot water washer, which is up to 80 degrees Celsius. You also do get drying. You do have a detergent dispenser, which is also available in the E25 system. And then it's got auto mop removal and a number of additional features, which I think do make it a standout system. However, that being said, both do have the features that count to make each system completely hands-free and has pretty much everything you need when you're cleaning your rooms. Now, what that means on a comparison standpoint, I'd say the Roborock is slightly higher, but from a feature set perspective, I'd say they're pretty comparable because they both have everything you need when it comes to a mopping and vacuuming system that you need to clean the rooms. Now, I know this video is short, quick, and to the point, but based on my usage over the past couple of weeks, comparing this new eufy E25 to my existing Roborock 10R, these are my final thoughts and recommendations. When it comes to mopping, eufy's E25 wins hands down. You just get better quality scrubbing and smarter water usage. And then, in addition to that, you also do get better vacuuming with better suction and pickup. And then the feature that I'm most impressed with is that you've got hair management features with the E25, which is no contest when it comes to comparing it with the Roborock system, because I constantly struggle with hair tangling in the brushes that I constantly have to address. And then, as an added bonus, you do get better AI and navigation, which is a slight edge to Roborock's Starsight navigation, and combined with the E25's corner rover system, it's just a winning package. But I will definitely give credit where credit is due. The Roborock Saros 10R is still a good robot vacuum. It's quieter, it's sleek, and it works well for lighter cleaning routines. But if you're someone like me who's looking for a solution that performs better and at a much more affordable price, the eufy E25 is definitely the way to go. Now, if you're looking for an upgrade, you'll definitely want to check out the eufy E28, which adds portable spot cleaning, PDC stain detection, and smart AI navigation, making it perfect for busy families. And if you're interested, you can check out my review in the video of that system using the link above. Well, that's it for today's review video and comparison. Let me know in the comments section below which robot vacuum you would trust with your daily messes. Also, which would you prefer? Now, to be completely honest, I'll probably be keeping both of these robot vacuum systems, but I'll definitely be using eufy's as my primary robot in the kitchen where we get the most foot traffic. It just makes sense because it cleans faster and more thoroughly. With that being said, please also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon if you found this video helpful and you want to support this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Now, if you want to pick up one of these eufy E25 robots for yourself, they've got a great sale going using my promotional link and coupon code in the description section below. Anyways, I've got some more in-depth tech reviews coming your way, so we will see you in the next video.